What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today I thought I would talk about the BS and S characters and give you guys an idea of which one of these characters is the best. Now, I can tell you guys right off the get-go that a lot of these characters are going to have EX skills available. These characters with these red borders around them, if they have that around them, they're going to be more valuable because you actually can level them up to level 70, which means you're going to be able to increase their CP. They're going to be more viable in more game modes and be more useful. Now, let's be honest and let's just face facts. The EX characters are always going to outshine these other characters. However, in a lot of team compositions or in some team compositions, these characters can actually help out tremendously, as we'll talk about here in a little bit. So I'm just going to work my way from left to right and just kind of go through all the characters and give you guys an idea of where they might stand. Now I'm going to be excluding collaboration characters because they're done and gone. At this point in the game, you're not going to be able to get them, which does kind of suck because a lot of these characters are actually really, really amazing, even to this day. Like for example, Luke here is insane for time attack. He's godly for reviving Hell's Dungeon. Alyssa can be a decent support. She's really good in against Omega Rugal, but unfortunately her EX core, you can only use every other rotation, which kind of sucks, right? Bison is just amazing for his weekend. I mean, there are some of these characters that were collaborations that were actually really, really good back in the day, but again, they're just not viable anymore because people can't get them. So we're just going to be focusing on the characters that are always going to be available in the game, especially since we get SS and BS selectors. We're able to farm for BS and SS memories for the most part, as long as they, make demo space a little bit more forgiving instead of just, removing all the heals completely. So we'll start off with Rugal. Now, Rugal here is a terrific character, but all he is a damage dealer. He's just a massive powerhouse. And yes, compared to EX characters, he's not very strong, but the guy is really good, especially with the comeback set or even the Idol Kula set. He's actually very, very strong and can actually get really good scores in go rate. In fact, as I've mentioned in many videos in the past, you don't need that high of a score, guys. You only need 1.25 billion in guild rate. This guy can absolutely do it, no problem. And that's why I always say you can just play with your favorite characters. He also does really well in Spider Robot. He can do well in the Immortal Dungeons, but you're going to have to play him manually because he is kind of a glass cannon and he can die relatively easy. Now, Leona is honestly one of the best characters easily in here. One, because she does have the EX core unlocked, but also because her EX core gives her the weekend. And weekend increases target damage received by 30% for all allies. This is really amazing. And not only that, but Leona has a shield, although against Nightmare Geese, it's kind of nerfed. But as I've shown you guys in past videos against Geese, she's still very good because she just breaks meters very, very fast, as long as the correct dots are applied to the opponent, right? She's just a really awesome character for, even demo space, she can do really well. She's actually done well against some of the bosses we've had in the past. The boss showdown, she's actually done really well. Like, the character is still very, very strong and just an insane support. Like, Leona is really awesome, guys. Really, honestly, one of the best characters you could choose or pick up from here. Then you have Orochi. Orochi is really just mainly a damage dealer, mainly a PvP guy, for the most part, guys. I mean, he doesn't really... His EX core, he just has Shout and Metamorph just makes him become immune to stun, freeze, and all these things. And he's really just set up more for PvP, does tons and tons of hits, and hits you from any direction on the screen, and that's pretty much about it. His 3PG unfortunately gets interrupted, which is kind of stupid, really. I mean, that the most powerful character in KOF, 3PG gets interrupted, but most other characters don't. Makes a lot of sense, right? Just, I don't know. The way Netmarble treats this character is just ridiculous. He is strong. He can put out some good damage for sure. But, yeah. And then we're going to skip Bison, obviously, because of collaboration. Now, Shazier is actually another really good character that you can pick up because she has Energize. And Energize actually increases all team members' attack by 25% for 15 seconds. This is actually really, really good. She ends up becoming a very, very good support. Although we do know that the increase all damage received by 30%, like Leona, is better. It actually is a little bit better, but Shazier still can be a really good support for your team, and her leadership is actually really, really great for blast skills. Actually quite nice. Maybe I'll test that in the future, maybe in a run with Rugal, just out of curiosity, right? And Iori. Now, Iori is another one of those characters that's actually really, really good to level up. This is a character that doesn't get any shine at all. Like, it's so weird because Iori is easily one of the most popular characters in KOF, but a lot of people don't. I mean, there's some players that talk about him that are hardcore fans, but a lot of people don't. And he's actually really, really good. This version of him, especially after his buffs, has become quite strong. And he does have weakened guys. He does increase all damage received by 30% for all allies. That makes him a very, very good support, right? With the correct dots applied, he can break meters. He's actually really, really strong and really good for support, right? And he has an immunity core on top of that, guys. So it really helps his survivability as well. It sucks that's a 30% chance. That's kind of the thing that is a bummer. They should just made this 100% chance, but still, he has a nice immunity core. And if you have a healing striker for him, he's actually going to do really, really well. That's kind of the thing about Leona versus him is Leona can actually break meters a little bit faster. She just does more hits, and she's just tankier, man. She's just a lot tankier character because she's a defensive character, and she does have her shield, which really does come in handy, especially against Omega Rugal. But even against Geese, the shield doesn't really work that well. But she just has high defenses. She can really just last the test of time a lot of times. And Honoka, unfortunately, he's a collaboration character. Guinness is actually really good for Omega Rugal because he does apply bleed and he breaks meters super, super fast. So if you're trying to use a character to break meters super, super fast, he's actually quite good. Now, unfortunately, these other characters, guys, don't have EX skills available, which kind of sucks. It kind of sucks that they don't, right? And that makes them least valuable. So, maybe in the future, we'll get some EX skills for these other characters, but I'm just kind of telling you where they stand. Guinness is also just a damage dealer, very good in PvP. Chrysalit is good, but he still has that bug, which Netmarble has never fixed, where you're using his second and third skill that do grabs, and a lot of times they just miss their attacks. It's really annoying because he's actually, after his buffs, he actually become quite stronger than what he was, but yeah, it's kind of a shame, but he has a nice decreased damage received in his kit where he can actually add a little survivability. Geese here is actually really good for any of you that are trying to do better in the Immortal Dungeons. His 3PG, if you're able to get it, is so long that he becomes really amazing, especially because of his leadership that increase attack fighters' PG rate. This is really important for the Immortal Dungeons. If you have a PG rate leadership, it's going to help your characters be able to do their 3PGs more often, stall the timer, do more damage over time to the Immortal Dungeons. He's really a character that's going to be really amazing for newer players. But again, guys, like if I was rating these guys, I mean, Leona would be number one. Not because she's my one of my favorites, right? She's my favorite waifu, but just because I just really think all in all, as far as utility, how good she is, damage wise, and everything, I just think that she's really the best amongst them all. Ignis is really good for Geese. He can do like complete solos, especially even on Inferno, because he does have shock, and he can actually interrupt Geese or interrupt Guild Raid, whether he's doing his default finisher or whether he's doing his 3PG, which is unlike any other character in the game. That's something that's actually really unique and awesome about Ignis. He does have a good leadership for all-star fighters as well, which is actually really nice. K here, unfortunately, K, he's just not that good, guys. Like, he's good for RHD, Reviving Hell's Dungeon, and he's an okay character, but he just really isn't that great. Mary is insane for breaking meters against Nightmare Geese. If you have her 3PG, she is insane. Because she has such a long 3PG, you can time things perfectly to where right after you do her 3PG, you can bring in other characters and just melt the meter and apply tons of damage. She's actually so good, even to this day, even though Athena pretty much, replaced her. But if you don't have Athena, then, EX Athena, then this girl's going to be like amazing. She's going to make your life so much easier against Nightmare Geese. And then this version of Athena, the SS version, isn't that good. She does have a good leadership for Purple Fighters, right? With a PG rate again for the Immortal Dungeons. Really, really good. Mai's going to be good for certain Immortal Dungeons. I think Immortal Rock, because of her burn, she's actually going to be really good for that. And it actually is really good for that. Terry's actually still very, very strong because he does have the 5.5 times explosion. He does have his shield. He has that immunity core. He applies Starlight all the time. He's actually really awesome, especially if you're trying to push Reviving Hell's Dungeon. He can cheese ball RHD, which is actually really nice. Terry's actually really, really good. Keo, Keo is just, pretty much a damage dealer, guys. Really kind of falling off the marker. Ash can actually do quite the solos against Nightmare Geese, especially if you put a Shermie option card on him and put a Kula option card on him. He can actually do really, really well. against Geese on his own. And all these characters, guys, can do well in the Immortal Dungeons. Okay, all of them can do pretty well in the Immortal Dungeons. Nameless, again, he has a shield. He can do really well against Immortal Dungeons. Has a lot of damage. Kula here, Reviving Hell's Dungeon, pretty much for the most part. And then we're just going to skip along. Now, King's actually really, really strong, but she is a glass cannon. She is a character that you do have to play manually if you want to keep her alive for the most part. Iori, really great leadership for your All-Star Fighters. Again, there's that PG rate leadership for All-Star Fighters, which is really great for the Immortal Dungeons. This guy here is a complete shredder for Omega Rugal because he has both bleed and poison built in his kit. Zero's really he's like Mary for Nightmare Geese. He's so good. In fact, he's almost too good when it comes to breaking meters. He's really, really awesome and will make your trips against Omega Rugal just smooth sailing. Unfortunately, this version of Zero here from the Epic Quest, I mean, the PG rate is really good, guys. I mean, he can be good for a leadership. And then you have Maxima here, who is really good for time attack. His leadership is good for time attack. Pretty much about it. Gato is, gone, unfortunately, guys. And then Kusanagi. Kusanagi is still a really, really good support. Really amazing, especially if you don't have Athena. But a lot of people that got Athena replaced him with her because she's just actually better because she actually offers leadership for EX fighters. But if you don't have a lot of EX fighters, he's actually going to be a really good support. But unfortunately, you have to wait for a certain event to come back before you can use them. And then Walrang here is actually a collaboration character. So that's kind of the gist, guys, of all these characters. I know I kind of brushed over a few of them, but I wanted to give you guys an idea of maybe the best characters that you could pick or maybe want to level up in the future, because it doesn't look like we're getting any more BS or SS characters except for maybe collaborations. It looks like that's the only time we're going to be getting any more of those types of characters, which is kind of a bummer in a way because we can actually level them up throughout the game. I don't know if that's completely true or not. Maybe they will give us some BS or SS characters in the future, but I have no idea. But let me know what you guys think. Again, guys, I think Leona really is like the best overall. But obviously, guys, if there's one of these characters that are your favorites, or I mentioned something that could be useful to you, maybe you should go for that character and pick them up, guys. I mean, Leona and Iori are both insane supports, and really Shazier is actually a really good support as well. But Leona, again, guys, for her survivability and the fact that she just breaks meters super fast because she does hits, I do think she's the best amongst the three supports. But it's all up to you as far as, what characters you guys want to level up. Let me know down in the comments who you're going to be leveling up. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody.